listening to the GreenSkull podcast,
a podcast for fight fans, music artists, and creatives alike. What is up, everybody? GreenSkull podcast, episode 13. Man, it's been a minute. But we're back at it, and this is temporary. Right now I'm in my studio, specifically my booth. We're gonna do a little breakdown of UFC 263 this past weekend. I know it's Thursday, I'm a little late, but we here. So just to get everything started, I want to talk about my picks for the fights. I definitely picked Moreno, I definitely picked Marvin, and I definitely picked Nate Diaz, all to get the dub that night, and we'll talk about it as we go up the ladder. I hope you guys are feeling good, and yeah, let's get to it. First fight of the card, man, we got Paul Craig and Jamal Hill, one of the craziest fights that I've seen in a while because it was completely one-sided. Couldn't even believe how crazy the ref couldn't see this dude's arm. At the time, I thought it was broken, but it turns out that it was actually just a really bad dislocation. And dude, Paul Craig, you can't play with this guy, man. He really put Jamal down, twisted his arm like crazy, literally popped it out, and had his way with it, man. He took the W. But the emphasis about the ref, like, bro, the ref, how are you the ref, right? And you saw this dude's arm go completely the other way, and like, you don't even stop the fight. It's crazy to believe, like, Jamal's hand or his arm could have literally been obliterated. Like, that's his whole career, and like the ref didn't save him at all. Apparently it was a local ref, and apparently he's one of like the worst refs out there. But I don't want to cap on Arizona, but definitely that guy shouldn't be reffing no more because Jamal Hill's arm did not look good at the end of the fight. But big ups to Paul Craig for getting that W. Crazy arm bar, and really crazy. Like, he's brutal, bro. He let that bend all the way back. So yeah, Paul Craig with the W. Honestly, I saw that coming, but I didn't see it coming with the arm and all that, all the craziness about the arm. We thought it was broken. Dana White confirmed later that it was actually just a really bad dislocation. And apparently Hill has full function of his arm back to normal. So that's good to hear. And he lives to fight another day, you know what I'm saying? Now for the fight with Belal Muhammad and Damian Maia. Now I'm not going to talk bad about Belal. I'm actually a fan of Belal. I think he deserved that rematch against freaking Leon Edwards, but I mean, it is what it is. Leon was beating him pretty much the whole fight, and then he poked his eye by accident. I mean, it was a pretty bad gouge. It wasn't just like a poke. It was pretty bad, but nonetheless, Damian Maia versus Belal Muhammad. To be honest, it was kind of boring because Belal was just so technical, so counter striker. So, he was always fearful of the takedown. And, everyone knows Damian Maia is almost on his way out. So he's trying to get at least one more W before his time's up. And to be honest, it just was a little boring because Damian Maia had nothing to stand up. And Belal was just kind of picking him apart and really biting on all of his feints, like all of his takedown feints, everything. At the end of the day, Belal Muhammad got the decision. And Damian Maia, I think he fought out his contract already. I think that was his last fight on his contract. I hear that he's asking for one more to fight Nate Diaz, and then I think he's done. I mean, I think he's like 41. Not too sure. I just know he's at the end of his career, and we all love Damian Maia, but I feel like, bro, I think it's time. But don't sleep on Damian Maia either, because a lot of his losses, his recent losses, are from top guys, and you gotta respect that, especially at the age that he's doing it. You gotta respect that. So shout out Damian Maia, shout out Belal for getting the W. But in my personal opinion, it was kind of a little boring. But it's all good. At the end of the day, you got the dub. It was clean. And yeah, you move on. Who knows what's next for Belal? Hopefully, I don't know about a title shot, but maybe he can run it back with Edwards. Obviously, Edwards doesn't want that because Edwards thinks that way. It's all good though. But yeah, shout out Belal for getting the W. Now speaking of Edwards, let's talk about this Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards freaking 5-round fight. All right. Listen, man. I'm Team Diaz all the way. Okay, I don't care who he's fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like legit, Team Diaz all the way. But I have to give it to Leon Edwards, man. Leon was picking him apart. Literally, Leon was winning the whole fight. For sure, Nate was getting hit a lot. A lot of his scar tissue was coming out. You know, blood everywhere. You know, Nate Diaz, or the Diaz fashion, which is like super badass. And it, for a second, I felt like, man, I was tired of seeing Nate just take all this damage, like just get beat up, and like, you know, he's still being Nate and like moving around, and like you can't stop him. But that's the best part about Nate, because Nate Diaz, bro, this is why I love Nate Diaz, because he does not, bro, he's a dog. He does not stop. You can't hurt him. Like, I don't know anybody who's literally put Nate Diaz in a dangerous position to where he's been finished. I can seriously, off the top of my head, I can't even think of anybody who's finished or knocked out Nate, because it's Nate Diaz, bro. Obviously, if you guys watched the fight, at the end of the 5th round, I think it was like a minute left, Nate rocked the shit out of Leon Edwards, and Edwards was on training wheels, bro. Actually, he knocked the training wheels off of him, bro, because Edwards was like, he was gone. I think if Nate was to just rush him right after that, Leon would have been out, and this would have been a whole nother story. But it is what it is. Nate did his thing where he laughs at you like, huh, I got you, bitch. And which is pretty badass. I think he did it perfectly, because at the end of the day, only Nate Diaz could lose and still win, if that makes sense. Like, everyone, you can check online. Everyone is talking about that 1 minute in the fight. Everyone is talking about Nate Diaz rocking the shit out of Leon, and Leon just running. But, you know, the facts is that Leon was winning most of the fight. He was dominating. He was really putting it on Nate. But at the end of the day, Leon couldn't hurt Nate. Nate was in no trouble of submission, no trouble of getting rocked, getting knocked out, nothing. You can't hurt this guy, which is so crazy to think about it. And at the end, Nate rocks Leon, and Leon is just gone. Like, you could watch the video, he looks like, what just happened? Like, oh my God. And I thought, because if you follow MMA, Leon has had like the worst luck in his career so far, like at least like as of lately. And I thought that Nate was going to pull this upset out, and it was going to be like, dang, Leon really hit rock bottom. Like, unfortunately, it came to decision, and they gave it to Edwards, obviously, because he was dominating for 4 rounds and all of that. But like I said, Leon didn't put Nate in any bad position. He was never in danger. He was never going to get out of there. You're never going to submit him or knock him out. And so it's all good, because everyone's talking about that 1 minute of the fight, and unfortunately, that's just what it is. So maybe it is kind of bad luck for Leon, because they're still talking about Nate, and he lost. But it is what it is. Leon's going to move forward. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he's going to beat Usman? Do you think he's going to get that title shot right after Covington? I don't know, man. I don't see Usman beating... I don't see Leon beating Usman, because Usman's just... Bro, Usman took a freaking beating from Covington and gave one back. Actually broke Covington's jaw. And Covington is a dog too, man. As much as anybody could hate on Covington, you cannot hate on the fact that Kobe Covington is a straight savage. You know, whatever, he's playing a gimmick, Trump supporter, all that. It's all good, whatever. At the end of the day, Kobe Covington versus Usman 2 is going to be fireworks. And I just don't think Leon could hang with that. I mean, think about it. Your fight, you almost lost to an older Nate Diaz. You know what I'm saying? And everyone said Nate was going to lose this fight. Everyone was like, Nate's gonna get beat down, he's gonna get knocked out. No one counted Nate into this fight. And then for a good minute, and I think 10 seconds, everyone thought, holy shit, Nate's gonna win. And in my book, you already know, Nate won. But that's just me because I'm a big old Diaz fan. But Leon versus Usman, I just seriously doubt that Leon's going to do anything to Usman. I don't think that you can really hurt someone who's that dominant. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure he'll get the title shot right after Covington. And we'll see Edwards versus Usman, and we'll see what happens. Not to brush off Kobe, though, because you never know. What if Kobe wins, gets the upset? Now Leon got to fight Kobe. I still don't think Leon's going to beat Kobe, but that's a whole nother story. At the end of the day, it was crazy in Arizona. I was watching it on TV. Fans in the arena, craziness. You know, the energy of when Bruce Buffer says, it's time. Bro, I'm not even there, and I wish I was. Like, I wish that I was there to witness all of that in person. And it sucks. I actually was in Arizona, but for a whole different reason. And, man, it was just crazy to see, like, the crowd, everyone in the crowd. Everyone was, it was funny because they were mad if you were grappling or if you were, like, in the clinch. Everyone was booing you because they wanted to see fights, bro. They didn't want to see no hugging and all that stuff, which that's still a fight. I know, don't come at me. But at the end of the day, you can't argue that grappling is more, like, I guess, for the average fan, interesting than actually kicking and punching each other. So Arizona was, like, throwing it up there, like, man, we want fights, you know. Stop hugging them, all that. And craziness. When Nate rocked Leon, it was like, oh my God, I got hyped. I was like texting my cousin, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got hyped. But yeah, craziness. Leon won. Shout out Leon for the dub. But you know, it's Diaz Army all the way. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, moving forward, event, Davidson Figueredo versus Brandon Moreno, bro. I can't even tell you how crazy and how hyped I am for Brandon. Bro, he did it, man. Mexico was on top. You feel me? First ever born and raised Mexican champ. What's good? Hell yeah. And let's talk about the fight, man. Obviously, I picked Moreno to win, and he did. New champ. Man, I don't know what it was. Davidson didn't look like Davidson in the first fight. If you guys saw the first fight, it was craziness. Like, they were both head-to-head. Moreno was giving them shots. Davidson was giving them back. It was just craziness. And this one just looked like pure dominance. I was like, wow. Like, Moreno went back and said, this ain't gonna go to a draw. Even Davidson came in hot for a bit, but I don't know, man. He was beating everybody at one point. Davidson was. And then Moreno came in with his second fight and took him out, bro. Like, took him out. I'm talking, like, I think in my personal opinion, I think he outclassed him. He outstruck him, outgrappled, and eventually got to the rear naked choke and choked him out, man. And Davidson, you know, prior to the fight, Davidson, I seen that he was crying because he made weight. And I think it's because, like, it's a really bad weight cut. I don't know. He did talk about after the fight maybe moving up in weight because that's really hard to obtain. Now, don't get it twisted. He's still asking for the third fight. So he's asking Dana for a trilogy. And I think that would be good too because then maybe he would, I don't know. I'm not going to say train harder because obviously they came ready. And Brandon Moreno got that with full legitimacy. And he did it, man. Like, bro, right when he choked him out. Right when Davidson tapped, Moreno let go and stood up like, wow. Like, he didn't even look like he can say, like, this is really happening. Like, he looked so confused and like holy shit, like, I did it. And yeah, man, I mean, I can't be more happier for that guy. I feel like he won me over in all of his press conferences and even his past fights. The way he fights is like, you know, like, I'll beat your ass type shit. Like, he's nice, he's a good guy, but when you're in there, man, like, it's all business, and I like that. So after the fight, you know, he was crying, he was real emotional, and dude, it got me a little emotional, not to cry or anything, but like, I was like, man, I'm just so happy to see how happy this guy is. Like, this moment right here is gonna change his life. It's gonna change the division. It's gonna change, like, he made history. He took out a very dominant champion, and he did it with dominant fashion. So shout out Brandon Moreno, and he did it, man. Right when his kids, I think his daughters and his wife came in, that got me. I was like, oh man, like it was a good moment to see, and I was happy to see that he got the W. One, because I was going for him, but two, because he looked really happy for it, and yeah, and it was really cool. It was a cool moment to see, especially with a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think their last fight 6 months ago, it was not with a crowd, and it was like real quiet, and you could see like more stuff, like people going. You know, it was more louder. Like you could hear the punches and kicks and all that stuff. So I don't know if the crowd changed it, but it's good that he won and he held the title up in front of a crowd instead of an empty arena or like the Apex where there's not much people. So that was cool. But to get to the last fight, and we're gonna wrap this up after this, Adesanya versus Marvin Vittori. Now, obviously, I picked Marvin, and you know, I kind of regret it, but it's not like I bet it or anything. But I was really talking it up for Marvin, man. I really was. I was like, you know, his takedowns, you know, he could hold people to the ground. The way he held Holland, and obviously Holland is not Adesanya, but I'm just saying, like, Marvin Vittori showed that he could wrestle for a long time. He doesn't get tired, and obviously Adesanya had problems with Blachowicz, but now I'm starting to realize, okay, Blachowicz was a lot heavier, so maybe that played a factor, who knows. But yeah, I had Marvin winning by basically just wrestling him and ground and pound, but that's not what happened. Adesanya came out, pieced him up, showed some great takedown defense. Even when Adesanya was taken down, he got back up like it was no tomorrow. Marvin looked weathered after the second round. He looked really tired, and I was like starting to eat my words. But I was talking it up for Marvin, man, you know. It doesn't make me an Izzy fan, because personally, I don't really follow Adesanya, even though he's the champ and everyone's like a big old fan. I can't say that I am. That's why I was rooting against him. But, you know, I respect his grind, and I respect what he did. He made me eat my words, bro. Like, I was going for Marvin. You know, Adesanya's starting to grow on me, you know, even though he talks a lot of shit, and I don't like all of the touching butt and, like, pretending to, you know what I'm saying, what he did to Paulo Costa. I don't like that stuff. I like, you know, humble champs. And, you know, you could talk shit. That's cool, but, like, that's disrespectful, bro. Like, to me, that's disrespectful, but whatever. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, I had Marvin winning, and Adesanya did his thing, and I can respect that. He did it. He obviously came in with a fireball into this fight because he didn't want to lose again, you know, because he just lost his undefeated record to Blachowicz. And can you imagine if it happened twice? Like, he didn't get the 205 belt, went back down to 185, and then got destroyed by Marvin. Like, that would have been, like, probably the end of his career. But at the end of the day, he got the W, and he did his thing. And that's cool, man. I can respect that. So shout out Adesanya for making me eat my words, and fucking Marvin, bro. Like, you got to step it up, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say. I was real happy. I wanted you to win so bad, but it's all good. I know you'll come back. I know you're going to fight for the title again in the future, and it's all good. So that wraps it up for UFC 263, man. It was a good night. Actually, there was some talks about the TikTokers versus YouTubers. I watched a little bit. I saw McBroom, I guess, knock out Bryce Hall, which was pretty cool. But I can't really talk much else about that. But yeah, I mean, boxing and MMA at the same night. But UFC 263 was definitely the night that no one should have missed, because it was just badass all around. Main card was stacked, and it was really cool. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to the GreenSkull podcast. If you made it this far, I want to let everybody know that this spot right here will be temporary. I'm going to be talking about MMA, you know, music. It's pretty much all over the place. But once I start getting, I'm in the process of trying to get a spot so that I could get people in person, because the Zoom calls were cool. But to be honest, like, the internet connection will go out. Maybe someone made a noise or in the background. So I just need a controlled environment for the podcast. Until then, I'll be here. Hopefully, I could get it soon by next week so that I can start getting more guests in again. We could have good conversations. And overall, just a better production. You know what I'm saying? So thanks again for tuning in. Episode 13, GreenSkull Podcast. Peace.
You're listening to the GreenSkull Podcast.
A podcast for fight fans, music artists, and creatives alike.